YouTube, which I'm firing up right now. There is a issue with one of the cameras, but I think we can survive without that one. And so people who tune in to the YouTube stream can hear stations they cannot hear on their radio. They can also hear how their audio sounds on the air and see their signal strength as well as see my station layout. Just type my call into the YouTube search box and look for us live, or tonight will be under the title AREG Week 1599. And finally, we ask that you please leave a 1 second delay between transmissions to allow others to break in. And with that, do we have any time sensitive or mobile stations that would like to check in? Please come now. Okay, nothing heard. Let's open up the net to everyone and anyone with a valid license. Please come now.
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Delta Victor.
Okay, Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Delta Victor. Cal, come on in.
Hi, Chuck. How are you? First time I'm looking at you on YouTube, so looks like you got quite a setup there. A lot of stuff going on. Looks like a little laboratory of sorts. Looks good. Back to you, Chuck.
Yes. I do have a few cameras going to give a perspective on what my shack looks like. Like I mentioned there, the one camera that usually faces me directly just didn't want to come on when I activated the YouTube stream there, and so I would have to go through a lot of trouble to get it up and running again. But you never know. I might be able to get it going. But yeah, this is my station, and I know there's a lot of people out there that have those Quan Sheng radios, and so they don't, unless they have an antenna outside that they can plug into, their reception will be a little limited, and so the YouTube stream helps them out there. So I heard you. Did you buy a radio or antenna or anything lately, there, Cal?
Yeah, I bought an Anytone for the car. It was recommended by a couple of folks on Zoe. Kevin and Mac were telling me about it, and I wasn't aware that you can buy something that's got that kind of power in the car. I always thought that you had to have a handheld. So ended up buying the Anytone. I was using it over the last week. I actually used it today. I'm quite happy with it. Gets all pretty good from the car, and nothing bad to say about it. It's really sharp looking, very small. Costs about just under $200, so it's affordable. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Back to you, Chuck.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I was in the market a couple of years ago for a mobile dual band, but I ended up getting a great deal on a 2 meter Yaesu, the 2980, which does 80 watts. So most of the body of the radio is a heatsink, and it puts out quite a bit of power without using an amplifier. 80 watts, that's pretty good. But yeah, I kind of wished I had gotten a dual band. But yeah, what the heck? Down the road, I guess there'll always be deals popping up. So, oh, very good then. All right. Well, thanks for checking in, Cal. If you like, you can stick around, and we'll see who else is out there. All right. With that, let's see who else would like to check in here to our weekly amateur radio exchange group. This is VA3 CJZ.
Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey, mobile.
I just called for mobile time-sensitive stations there at the beginning, but I guess you must have missed it. So let's pull in VA3 India Mike Whiskey mobile. Come on in, Mac.
Probably in a little bit of a dip right now, and things are going to be a little crackly, but it's going to get real better real soon. Anyways, I'm here for the duration. Got another maybe 15 or 20 minutes until I'm back home. And yeah, like I say, a little bit of a late start on the trip home as I'm getting used to my new position and my new plant and new responsibilities and new. Yep, it's all good. Anyways, Chuck, I'm here for. Let you go ahead and pick up a whole bunch more.
All right, very good, Mac. Yeah, it is a little later than usual. 8:06 p.m. So very good. Yep, still light out for another half hour, I think, before the official sunset begins. Okay, Mac. Well, I have you in the log, and thanks for jumping in there and listening along. Okay, who else is out there would like to join us here on the weekly Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ.
V3 BK.
Okay, I hear VE3BK. Here, I've been hearing some funny noises there, Rick. I don't know if that was you, but come on in.
That was me. I had to turn down the other radio. It was clicking on me here. So I don't know whether you heard a click or what you heard, but I heard a click. Anyway, yeah, so we got a topic tonight there, Chuck, or we're just talking about anything there. The weather today is just fantastic. Well, over 70 degrees and back here.
Yeah, it got warmer than they said it would. If I'm correct, I looked at my thermometer outside there, and it said 23 at one point, but it didn't last very long. It dipped back down to 20, and so yeah, that's another thing. From what I'm looking at on the Weather Network, right till the end of the month, we're not going to be making 20 degrees. So we're going to be a little bit late there with our summer start. And so, yeah, a lot of rain, partial snow, or partial sun and clouds for the rest of this week anyways, until into the weekend. But yeah, man, it was windy today. Holy moly.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, I was sitting on the porch fixing the weed whacker, and got it going, and all the old grass fell off, and the wind blew, and it just blew it right off the porch. So that was kind of nice. But boy, it was a great day to be outside and do that. So fix the weed whacker, and my daughter's home, so she actually cut the grass for us. So that was good. VA3CJZ, V3BK.
Yeah, if you'll just bear with me there, Rick, my my headphones cropped out on me there, so I got to switch to another pair.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, no problem on that. Yeah, so what kind of headsets are you wearing there these days, Chuck?
Well, I was using a pair of earbuds, and they've been working great up until today. And then I bought from Amazon there. I bought a pair of actual headphones, and they seem to be working pretty good too. So I'm just gonna hook them up right now and see if we can pick up everybody. Otherwise, the sound will come out through my laptop, and then it kind of messes up with with my audio that's going straight into the YouTube stream there. So hang on a second, Rick. I'll be right with you. Hmm. All right, Rick, I think we got her. Come on back.
Okay, very good. Well, I was just trying out something here. Looks like I should charge it up. I got one here that has a built-in battery, rechargeable, but I haven't used it for a while, and I guess it's not working. Anyway, so I got my other headphones there on the HF radio, and they're ones I got off Amazon too. So they're called COS SB45, COS SB45. They work really good. They work on computer too.
Oh yeah, these new ones I just bought, the headphones there. I kind of like the earbuds, for the summer because your ears don't sweat. With headphones there, they get pretty warm. So I bought a pair of called K Video on Amazon. K Video there, and it was a pretty good deal on them, and so that's what I'm using right now.
Oh yeah, well, as long as they're good and they work good, and the earbuds probably are the best thing for like this kind of weather, starting in the warm. So, okay, well, you better carry on, and yeah, I missed 8 o'clock. Then I noticed what time it was, and I came into the ham shack here. So, listen along, V3 BK.
Okay, very good, Rick. Well, thanks for checking in. And now that I've got everything sorted out here, except for that one uh, that one camera that crapped out on me just minutes before the net started there. But hey, that's how it goes, and we're all right. We're going to keep going anyways. All right, with that, we'll clear with VE3BK, and maybe Art or someone else would like to check in there to the weekly Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Please come now.
Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Papa Golf.
Victor Alpha 3, November, Charlie Alpha.
All right, very good. I copy Whiskey Papa Golf and November Charlie Alpha. I'd also like to acknowledge Bill, who checked in with us on YouTube, VE3IUK, as well as Wade and Wayne B from Mississauga, and that's VA3 Fox Mike Bravo. We have you in the log as well. So let's bring in Chris, Whiskey Papa Golf.
Oh, good evening, everybody. VA3 WPG. Not much going on here. Fire department just left the building after going off, the alarm going off for half hour. I'm going to guess it was something to do with some kind of a burnt drug on a knife or a spoon or something. Who knows in this place? But woke me up just in time for the AREG net, or I probably would have slept through it. So I guess wide awake now, and I will be listening for the duration of this net instead of falling asleep halfway through the net this week.
Oh, well, Chris, it happens, right? Especially after dinner, you get a full belly and you sit down and get relaxed. And next thing you know, your eyes close and it's nap time. So it's all good there, my friend. And yeah, that's the one thing when we had our house fire, we stayed in a hotel there downtown. And let me tell you, sirens all the time. I couldn't handle living downtown in any major city. I'm sure, Toronto and other big cities, Hamilton. Yeah, if you can sleep, easily. Me, I can't. But for people who can, sleep through a bomb, then that's good for them.
Yeah, extremely light sleeper here myself too, so it's not too nice. Well, S-Jack scenario with the activity that goes around here. Then not to mention all these new condos that are going up as well. So that's actually, as you say, it has tripled the amount of sirens that's been coming around the neighborhood, as you can imagine. So I got a transfer put in for this building, hoping to get the hell out of here soon. So hoping that works out.
Yeah, well, that's just it. You really don't know how things are going to be until you spend some time there, right? So, yeah, if you can find a better place at a decent price, man, more power to you. Anyhow, Chris, well, thank you so much for checking in, sir. And we'll get back to you in a little bit, but we'll go through the list first. Do you have anything else for us?
I do not. Let's keep it rolling around, and maybe next time we'll have something radio related. Or actually, if NE's around, I would be interested. I noticed he was going to be checking into the sideband net. If he wants to check in here later on, I'll be listening. But I am definitely interested to know how that sideband radio worked out on the sideband net. But other than that, no, let's keep it moving for now. VA3 WPG.
Okay, very good there, Chris. All right, then. So we'll clear with Chris, and let's say hello to Wade, VA3 November Charlie Alpha. Come on in, Wade.
VA3 CJZ, VA3 MCA. Good evening, Chuck, and good evening all on net. Good, nice to have Wednesday come around and be able to check in on the AREG as usual. And yeah, I don't know. Today, not much radio, but I understand I'm not missing much. Apparently, the conditions are deplorable, so don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know so much about that. Haven't had a chance, as I said, to get on the air. But other than that, maybe this weekend, maybe make another attempt with the vertical end-fed random wire that I played around with last weekend. Conditions weren't great either, but I did make a contact on 15 meters to the Netherlands from Devil's Punch Bowl on my little 10-watt radio, which I was really happy with until I checked out his QRZ page and saw the size of his 15-meter beam. So I think it's safe to say he was doing all the work in that contact, but nonetheless, he's in my log, so that was fun. Other than that, something that you reminded me of there, Chuck, when you had the camera on that bird on your front step. We have a similar situation. A bird has taken up residence in our little light above our garage. So I went out there and I stuck a camera on it. And now I got to figure it out. Like proprietary ones, you have to use their app. I got to find a way to get it on the web. Despite their app, so I don't really like that about it. But anyways, I can, without disturbing it too much, I can check in on it periodically. So yeah, you inspired a bunch of bird peeping toms. So there we go. Anyways, with that, I'll send it back to you. I will be listening along for the duration, and thanks for running it. Back to you there, Chuck, V3MCA.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, we had a failed nesting, I guess you might call it. Squirrel must have got the eggs because we had the nest, and then the wife came home from work one night and found eggshells on at the top of the stairs there underneath the nest, and Mama never came back around. And so I waited a few days, just to be sure. And I brought the nest down and I looked inside and there's one egg in there, but I think it looks like there was a peck or some damage to the one egg there. So yeah, it was a failed one, unfortunately. So, the software I use for the net there, Wade, is called ManyCam, one word. MANINY Cam, ManyCam, and I think you can download a version that you can use. It's got limited options available, but nonetheless, you could try it out. I'm using a an old pirated copy, and seems to work for me. So just a suggestion out there for software to use for streaming.
Yeah, very good. I think I'll definitely take a look for that. It's Manycam, all one word, I believe. If that's right, I'm pretty sure I know what piece of software you're talking about. So I'll give that a shot. Yeah, this is an old Wise, W-Y-S-E. So funny spelling of Wise, but an old Wise cam that I just had in a junk drawer. I think I rescued it from the e-waste at work, like I get most of my old tech. So the only downside is it's not obvious how to make it work with outside applications other than the Wise application that matches up to it. But I haven't played around with it too much, so I'm still going to work on it. I think I can do it, so we'll figure out how to do that. I don't know if there are eggs in this nest yet. It might be a little early, but it's certainly in a decent place for protection from squirrels. I don't know how they'd get up there, although they are crafty little buggers. But this is right underneath the soffit above the garage, so right on the little lamp the little security light that is up there. So they picked a good spot. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it, and I'll let you know how it goes. Other than that, don't have much else right now, but I'm maybe as the net goes on, I'll think of something more noteworthy to bring up. But back to you there.
All right, very good then, Wade. Thanks for checking in. And if someone can let me know if there's any noise, unusual noise coming through the stream, because I got my other camera to work, but it's brought in a bunch of noise with it. So I don't know if that's reflecting into the YouTube stream or not. Okay. So with that, let's see. Where am I? Well, we can't call in people that are on YouTube, so let's do a call out and see who else would like to check in with us here on the weekly Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3CJZ.
Victor Echo 3, Lima, Bravo, India.
Larry, VE3LBI, come on in.
Yep, I always just listen along there for a few minutes, and I thought I'd do a check-in. Another pleasant day, actually, really nice, except for the wind. Yesterday was really warm, but the back lawn cut, trimmed again, and again, and again.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do over here. The the forecast for the next couple of weeks is going to be cold and wet, and we'll see a little bit of sun here and there, but not the May that I'm familiar with, that's for sure.
No, and the other thing I was listening to talking about the security, like I said, so I don't have any extra sauce on my barbecue when we're cooking. But they keep coming back and looking, but I got it blocked off. So I'd build them a spot they could nest in. I really would, but they just can't do it over top of the barbecue.
Yeah, that's the thing, when animals are set on a spot, some of them are pretty tenacious. I've heard of people finding them in their sheds, inside tires, so you try and block them, but they get in, that's where they want to be, right?
Yep, absolutely. Although, three houses down, I think it is, we got a crow's nest, and I've been watching that. The female's in there. The male sticks around on top of the apartment building and kind of does the scouting to make sure nothing comes around. But it was awful windy today. I was looking at that tree, and boy, oh boy, it was blowing. So she must have been hanging tight.
Oh yeah, I know. We have some neighbors with trees that look like cherry blossoms, and when the wind picks up, when it was raining, was it yesterday or the day before, and it was high winds there, I was looking out going, is that hail? My wife goes, no, that's the flower petals from the tree in the ground. Oh, wow. So, and today, oh my goodness, we had the patio umbrella open there, and oh my goodness, it was pretty windy.
Yeah, we got a pear tree in the backyard, and it's full this year, right full. And the wind today, like you said, well, I'm sure a lot of the cars in the parking lot behind us or at the apartment building are covered in all the little petals from all of the flowers that come off today.
Yeah, yeah, and lilacs are the other flowering tree that I like. The lilacs and the cherry blossoms, very pretty. And yeah, I think my neighbor has a lilac actually. I'm not even sure if they bloomed yet. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be hanging on to some chilly weather. You know what? When it blows really hard like that, Larry, it means that it's dragging in something behind it, and behind that high winds today means colder temperatures and whatever system it's going to bring up with it, which of course is going to be a lot of wet stuff. So may not be able to cut the lawn when you want to. So you might have to get in there when you get a break in the weather.
No, absolutely true, Chuck. All right, I'll pass it back to you. See if you get anybody else on there. I thought I heard a call come in around just before Wade picked it up there. So have a listen, and I'll pass it back to you. BE3LBI.
Okay, very good. Yeah, well, we don't have Mac with his ears. He's mobile right now, coming back from work a little bit late today. And so let's see. Anybody else out there would like to check in with us on the weekly amateur radio exchange group? Amateur radio exchange group, that is. The AREG net has been running for 30 years. In September, it will be 31 years. And next week, on May the 15th, next Wednesday, it will be AREG net number 1600. And so looking forward to that as well. But for now, let's see who else is out there would like to check in and say hi, test out the radios. Okay. Thank you, Bill. I'd like to acknowledge VE3IUK Bill and Wade and Wayne, VA3FMB, and Sean, VE3FNI. He just checked in saying hello all, or hey all. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Good evening, Sean. Thank you so much, everyone, for checking in. Much appreciated. And so with that, let's do another call out. Anyone, anywhere wishing to check in, please come now.
Currently in Hamilton, it's 13 degrees
Oh,
Celsius.
there goes my Amazon assistant telling us it's officially sunset.
With a low of 8 degrees.
Oh, a low of 8 degrees tonight. There we go. Okay, so let's jump into the contests coming up this weekend. There aren't very many of them, so if you can weather the upcoming temperatures for the weekend, POTA might be good for you. Hopefully, the sun will not be so active and conditions will get a little bit better. But let's start off with Fists, Saturday Sprint, FISTS, and that's for CW. And the bands are 10 meter, 15, 20, 40, and 80. Again, the FISTS Saturday Sprint, it's called. And that starts 0 Zulu time on May 11th to 23:59 Zulu, May 11th. And then right after that, we have the Volta WWRTTY contest. If you're into RTTY, it is for 10 meters, 15, 20, 40, and 80. The Russians are coming. No, the Russians have a contest called the CQ-M International DX Contest, and that's for CW and single sideband. And that goes for 10 meters, 15, 20, 40, 80, and the gentleman's frequency, 160 meters. And that starts at 1200 Zulu, May 11th to 11:59 Zulu, May 12th. Next is the SKCC Weekend Sprintathon for CW, and that begins with 6 meters, and then 10, 15, 20, 40, 80, and 160. And finally, we have the Canadian Prairies QSO Party, starting at 1700 Zulu, May 11th to 0300 Zulu. So it's a short one for May 12th. Let's see. Yeah, that's only for a few hours. And so I don't think I've ever participated in that one. Well, that's for CW and phone. And the bands are 10, 15, 20, and 40. Again, the Canadian Prairies QSO Party. And then a really, really short one for 50 megahertz called a 50 megahertz Spring Sprint. And that's only on for 4 hours. And that's for 6 meters, starting at 2300 Zulu, May 11th to 0300 Zulu, May 12th. So just tomorrow evening for 4 hours. If you want to do 6 meters, there's a contest there for you. That's it for my announcements for contests this weekend. If you want to find out more information, please open your web browser and go to type in contestcalendar.com, and you can find all your information there. Do we have any questions, comments, or announcements that anyone would like to make? Please come now.
VE3LVR recheck.
Yes, go ahead, Larry.
I did manage to talk to Arpad on Monday night there. After Rick had wrapped everything up, he was still there, and I had the opportunity to talk to him. He was a little bit staticky, but we kind of made a bit of a cue. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I ended up following Rick down to 10 meters there at I think it was 10 to 9. He took off there, and it seems like Rick was a little confused when Arpad checked in. He didn't really recognize the call and never really got back to him. I thought he would have got back to him there, but well, that's good then. I heard Arpad didn't have much noise at his end, so he was able to hear everyone. But unfortunately, here in the city, it was a little bit tougher for us.
Yes, and at that point, excuse me, on Monday night, he was 100 miles south of Napanee. No, I don't know how far it's gone since then, but that's where his location was, about 100 miles south.
Yes, I believe that's on the Highway 11. I've traveled that many times. Napanee, I've gone through there. Oh, for a whole decade, I went through there going west and then coming back. So, very good, very good. Well, hopefully he's got some nice weather where he is, and no more breakdowns, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, I just thought I'd throw it in there, Chuck. Anyways, okay, back over to you. See who else is going to be out there tonight.
Contact VA3IMW.
Yes, sir. VA3 IMW. Come on in, Mac.
As you can tell by the sound of my voice, I'm already at the home station. Just to bring Larry back in, I thought you had mentioned that he was 100 miles south of Moosonee, not Napanee.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right. Yeah, it was Moosonee. Yeah, it wasn't Napanee. It was Moosonee. When I think about it now. Yep. Yeah, it was 100 miles south.
Right. So Moosonee is southern tip of James Bay. There's a huge difference between Napanee and Moosonee, and the only way that I know Moosonee is the fact that I've traveled the Polar Bear Express train, and in order to trek through the logging roads to get up there, that's some big doings. So yeah, he's a long way from home and a short time to get there.
Does he have a quad or motorcycle or any other type of transportation with him? I think he's got his e-bike, right?
Yes, he has an e-bike. E-bike on a logging road? Nah, I don't think so.
Exactly. But it beats walking, I guess, if he's got quite a distance to go. But yeah, and trust me, I've been on some of those logging roads in Quebec. A friend of mine brought me to his father's favorite fishing hole, and he ruined, I think, all the shocks on his Volvo getting up there, and or two of them, anyways, for sure. And it was rough. It was rough. At one point, there was, in fact, a bridge made out of two logs that if you turned your wheel one way or the other, you would be in a lot of trouble. You would get stuck or fall over. So it wasn't a big fall, but nonetheless, you, you had to be careful traversing that particular little man-made bridge there in the middle of the bush.
Yeah, QSL. Logging roads are not for the faint of heart, and they change day by day. Actually, my GPS in my older Ford pickup actually took me through some logging roads as a shortcut when I was in New Brunswick, and that I don't own that GPS anymore. It ended up in a trash heap somewhere. it wasn't a good trip, but yeah, those roads are a great shortcut, provided the washboard conditions aren't too bad, and perhaps a creek hasn't overflowed and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely yeah, not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, absolutely. You got that right, Mac. All right. Anything else?
No. As I said, just settling into my new role and feeling very welcomed in a facility that needs some help. So I'm a busy little beaver. I'm not sure whether I'm building dams or taking them down, but we'll see how that goes.
All right. Very good. All right. Let's see if Cal is still with us. VA3 CDV. Cal?
Yes, I am. I'm just listening along and listening on YouTube as well for those people that I can hear. So enjoying the net and just staying with it.
All right, very good. I'm not sure if it was you that was having trouble with the antenna. Was that you that I heard earlier?
Yeah, I got a 66-foot end-fed antenna that is out of whack. I think it's because I, over the winter, had to rehang it, and I did so haphazardly because it was cold and bitter and didn't have time to do it right. So I need to just take it down and hang it properly over a tree, and hopefully it'll be fine. Because I checked the transformer today, and it looks pretty clean. It looks actually in good condition. So I'm thinking it might just be the way I hung the wire.
Yeah, I was just going to mention you want to try and stay away from anything metal, and that includes the corner of your house. There is metal framing in the corners of houses. A lot of people don't realize some houses have all aluminum studs. So you keep it away from anything that has metal close by, and keep it away from being up against the house, like you have mentioned that you're, hooking around the corner of the bricks there of the house. Maybe once you get that away, anything metal and a wire antenna is a no-no, and you'll get much better results that way. So I wish you well on that endeavor, and hope that helps out.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. I'll report back to folks once I've had a chance to do it properly and see if I get different results. I was saying that I initially thought that it was a problem with the wire discoloring because of the sun, the UV hitting it, and it's black, and all at once the coating became white. But as I understand it, that shouldn't be a factor. So I'll try rehanging it and see if I fix the issue. Back to you.
Okay. Now, another thing I think they suggest stranded core wire, not solid. And a lot of people might want to use household electrical wire, which apparently is not that good because it stretches. And that'll, of course, change the pattern of your antenna uh, output. So, um, some of the things you got to keep in mind there. So I have what is it, a three strand core, 10, 12 gauge, a little bit heavier. But if you're wanting to have a mobile wire, you can even use chicken wire. Uh, you can use anything really, but just giving you a heads up there.
Yeah, thank you. I bought this antenna from Radio World, so it actually comes with a wire. So I'm going to test that wire out to make sure that there's no shorts and there's nothing that looks like it's been chewed into. And if that's the case, I'll just rehang the same wire. If, on the other hand, I find some damage in the line, then I'll have to replace the wire.
Comment.
Yeah, hang on there. Comment. Yeah, do a continuity test there to make sure there's no break in the wire. Go ahead there, Mac.
Yep. Obviously, question number one is, did it ever work really properly? Number two, is this a sloper configuration or an inverted V? And if you're going around corners, make sure you do not have any angles that are tighter than 90 degrees. That's kind of one of the unwritten rules, is that if you're tighter than 90 degrees on any of the bends on a something going around a corner or an L pattern or an inverted V, then the lobes coming off the two radiant elements, each bend, it becomes a new radiating element, and the lobes can interfere with each other. The other part here is if somebody that you know has a nano VNA, it's a good idea to stretch this thing out straight just to make sure that it is indeed resonant, and that'll check the condition of the transformer itself as well as the wire. There's your homework for the week there. Enjoy, Cal.
Thanks, Mac. I appreciate the advice. Just to answer your question, it did work when I initially put it up. I had help putting it up. And the only reason I think it's not working now is that over the winter it got blown off the tree I had it in, and so I haphazardly hung it another way. And I think the other way that I hung it is not ideal, and it needs to go back to the inverted shape that you described. I do have a nano VNA, and I'll probably put that to use as well. And so between the suggestions you made and the suggestions I received from others on the air, I'm sure I can figure this out. But I'll let you guys know what I come up with. And thanks again for the advice.
Okay, very good then. Good luck, and let us know how everything works out. And okay, let's do another call out and see who else is out there would like to check in with us here on the weekly Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3CJZ. All right. How about the Quansheng UVK6? Does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to report on these radios? Uh, Anything at all? Please come forward.
Everybody can hear Vic now.
VE3LBI recheck.
Yeah, recheck. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, just a note there. I think we talked about it Friday night. I said the battery was dying on mine. I must have left it on by accident because it's been sitting here beside me since Saturday and it's still showing 100% charge.
I'm sorry. Say that again, Larry.
On Friday night, I think we were talking about the radio, and my battery was dead on the Quansheng, and I was asking if anybody else had a problem. And I think you mentioned to me at one point, Chuck, it might have been a bad battery, but the radio's been sitting beside me since Saturday here, okay, and it's fine. So I might have, by accident, left it on the last time, and it drained the battery down. But right now, it's fine. It's up to 100% showing that.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. I've done that. I've come to sit down in the morning and find out that the radio is on the handheld. So it happens. Um, and oh yeah, on the Sunday night sideband net, um, I heard Kevin try and transmit. See, the thing is, you can't fine tune it. Um, like for me, if I go to 446.125 on upper sideband, everybody is sounds distorted to me. I have to go back down to 446.124.5, let's say. But you can't do that with the handheld. You can't fine tune the last bit of the frequencies there. So he was coming through though. Mind you, he's only across the street from me. That was Kevin VA3NE, and it works, but yeah, it's more for listening, I would think.
Okay, anyways, I just saw it throw it in there. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Maybe my grandson had turned it on. I don't know. And I know I had put it up on a shelf, and then when I pulled it down, the battery was dead, and I was wondering what was going on. So, like I said, it's been sitting here. I haven't used it, just kind of left it alone to see if the battery would drop, but it's still showing 100% charge. So, like I said, it must have been turned on and left on by accident to drain it.
Okay, very good then. And another thing, Kevin mentioned that he's getting more out of his charge, more out of the radio now that he's using the base charger instead of the USB plug-in. So yeah, the plug-in is if you're out and about somewhere and you have a power bank with you, you run out of power, you can juice it up. But to get a proper full charge, it's best to use the base, the charging base. Okay, and then we have a comment from Sean on the YouTube live stream. Sean VE3FNI. RPAD is probably out of range of any station that can pick up his APRS. And I know, I think I last lost him, Gravenhurst, I think it was, just outside of Aurelia. And so, yeah, um, when you start getting far away there from civilization, you lose signals. All right, with that, let's see if there's anyone else out there wishing to check in with us here on the Weekly Amateur Radio Exchange Group.
Comment?
Go ahead, comment.
VA3 CJZ, VA3 MCA. Just an extra little bit about the Quansheng there. I think we had a check-in on Mac's Sunday night sideband net on the Quansheng. I think it was Kevin who maybe did that. Maybe he can tell us about it on the next round or something. But because he can actually transmit, and since it is 70 centimeters, it's not, I understand it's not horrible. But you can transmit in technically double sideband mode, so it's not strictly legal. I hear that it had some issues with quality of voice, but still, from a handy-talkie to be able to do any form of sideband, I guess it means he was 6 kc wide, which is a little wide, but we're experimenting, I guess, so I guess that's good. And I hope Mac wrote him down as 2 check-ins for that double sideband signal. Back to you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what I was talking about there, Wade, just a few minutes ago about Kevin checking in on the Sunday sideband net on his Quanchang. So it wasn't exactly on frequency. I could make him out, but yeah, it'd be tough to carry a conversation with. Uh, right there, Mac?
Actually, I could hear and understand every word he said, but it was somewhat garbled and
Yeah.
I wouldn't say off frequency, but there was a mishmash of stuff. So actually, I wasn't able to log him as two check-ins because I could only hear him on upper side. I think that the next event that needs to happen is have everybody that has one of these up firmware radio get together on 146.125 on double sideband and see if they can hear each other.
Yeah, that'd be neat to try out, especially if you've got a Quanchang to Quanchang type. Yeah, something to try out for sure. Now, another thing about those radios, I've been buying aftermarket antennas for them, and I find the best. I don't have an nano VNA, so I can't actually uh, scientifically check them, but I've had a lot of success with the Redivis antennas. Now, everyone swears about the Nagoya antennas. If you get the actual, an authentic one, there are so many knockoffs available. But even if you want to spend $40 on a 15-inch whip, oh, that's up to you. But for me, um, I'm a little cheap that way. So I've purchased both the 15-inch and the 8-inch Redivis antennas. You can purchase them on Amazon if you want them quick, but I find that they're doing the same thing. They're coming from China. So I don't know if they're in business with AliExpress or not, but they're not very expensive. And I've bought them from AliExpress, and they work great. So the Redivis, RETEVIS antennas are I recommend them. All right, so let's see what Rick is up to. VE3 Bravo kilowatt.
Even the Diamond, they do a really good job on 70 centimeters, but the factory antennas are more resonant on 2 meters than these aftermarket ones are. So if you want to carry around two buggy whips, the shorty that comes with the radio is going to work better with your 2 meter setup, and then perhaps the Nagoya or the Diamond up issue is going to be more effective on 70 centimeters.
Yep, absolutely. And another thing I saw in a video is a guy was trying those tactical antennas, and believe it or not, he had more success with the transmit and the receive with the antenna folded halfway. Now he was using, I think, a 24-inch, and then he used a 42-inch, but that's just crazy, way too long. But I have an 18 or 19-inch foldable tactical antenna, and so they recommend you fold the antenna. They seem to work better. Anyways, just passing on some information there. All right, so let's go down the list quickly here and see what Rick BK is up to.
Yeah, I heard you turn it over to me before, but then Mike was talking. Anyway, yeah, the double sideband. I don't know any radios that listen to double sideband. We should put on the AM. So if we're going to go to sideband, not everybody has 2 meter sideband, so that's another thought. Anyway, yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, what was I doing? I was checking email here for the club, and anyway, so I was doing that, listening along at the same time. Anyway, that's what I'm doing over here. This antenna you're talking about, fold up, and it's only 19 inches. Is that a 2 meter, 19 inch, quarter wave?
Yeah, well, it's I think it's 18.89 inches to be precise. And so it's good for 2 meters, 70 centimeter. But the guy testing it had better success when he had the antenna folded as opposed to fully extended.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Yeah, well, there are a lot of knockoffs, like you said, and I know I like the diamond myself because the diamond is made with really good material and it lasts. But some of these knockoffs, you can't really tell the difference when they're brand new. But if they sit around on your roof of the car for too long, they rust, and that's where the knockoff, you get your money by buying the better antenna because it's made out of stainless steel or whatever, rather than rusting away. Like some of these antennas only last for 2 years, so some of the knockoffs are good buy if you're going to take them in the house all the time. But if you leave them outside, they weather, so they're gone before you know it. So the best thing I found is for a mobile anyway. But that's not always true because my antenna, I was talking to Mac, and the power was lousy, and I put ART antenna on, and it just improved entirely. And I found out the bottom part where the magnet was all rusty, and that's what happened to that one. So the magnet part of the antenna went and it failed and created rust in the bottom of the antenna. So that
Yeah.
antenna is retired, and we put a new one on and another one, and it's working great now. So there you go. So buyer beware when you buy antennas. That's all I can say, Chuck. And it sounds like that one folded over. Doesn't matter which way it works better. If you fold antennas back, they usually do work. So if it works, anyway, give me that measurement again. That sounds like a good way to make a vertical antenna. Has it got ground planes on it?
Now, these are antennas for handhelds, Rick, that I was talking about. Specifically, everybody's got these Quanchang radios now. And so I found two brands that don't cost an arm and a leg that are actually very decent. And I've done some, I've checked out some videos online. And the one brand is called Redivis, and the other one is called Abree, Abbree, Abree. Both very good antennas, and I've got both of them here. And I can't wait to be able to spend some time outside and go through them all and do comparison.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we'll test them with somebody. Like maybe Larry or somebody would test with you, and you'd be able to talk that, so the distance would make a difference on which antenna works better, depending on where you are too. If it's handheld, moving 1 foot one way or turning around makes a big difference sometimes. So it might be hard to compare unless you stay in exactly the same spot for both antennas. That would be a good test. Anyway, I'll ham radio experiment. So back to you, Chuck, and back to the net. VA3CJZ, V3BK.
Yeah, very good, Rick. I saw one guy's experiment there. He did a remote with his handheld. He had the camera rolling on his base radio, and he went through all the antennas. He went through the short ones, the long ones, the tactical ones, and he went through 2 meters and 70 centimeters. And he had a camera on his radio, so that when he got home, he went and replayed the video, and he could tell what the signal strength was for each antenna, and it was a pretty good test. I might do that. I might go and sit in Center Mall somewhere and do that.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good test, sure. Yeah. Anyway, Harpad. Monday night, I knew Harpad was there. I knew somebody was there, but I couldn't hear him. And the other two guys on the mountain, Larry was one of them. They could share the odd word. The odd word. We had a guy from Kitchener break in, and he heard Harpad really good. And Harpad was hearing everybody. So he relayed to us from Harpad. And then I figured that was it. We were done, and I hear now Larry worked him after, and that's good. So band conditions usually get better later in the evening on 80 meters. So if Larry was able to work him and hear him, then that's great. But the guy in Kitchener, he could hear him and we couldn't. So there you go. But he could hear all of us. So our pad was doing okay as far as receive going. He must have been in a real quiet spot. But now I guess he's out of touch. He's gone further north. What do you know about that, Chuck? Over.
Yeah, he's right at the tip of the bay there. He's been there before. He said he would drive until he runs out of road going north. So, but anyways, yeah, you should think about maybe going to 40 meters there, Rick, one of these nights for the net, and you may get you may get more check-ins. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Well, we did once before, 7100, and we got a guy from Nova Scotia checked in. So that's the furthest we've had. 80 meters doesn't go that far that time of night, but definitely, 40 meters gets longer and longer. So that's a good idea. Anyway, we'll keep that in mind, and we'll see what happens here for next Monday. Anyway, back to net there, and thanks for being there and doing the net there, Chuck. BA3CJZ, B3BK.
Okay, very good, Rick. So let's do one more call out before we get into our trivia. And on this day in history, I'm sure a lot of people are waiting for that. It's now 9:03 p.m. and currently 14.5 degrees outside the CJZ studio. Well, let's see who else is out there would like to check in with us here on the weekly Amateur Radio Exchange Group Net. Please come now.
3 KKP.
CD3EIR.
Okay, I acknowledge two stations there, KKP and EIR. Kevin, come on in.
Hi, good evening, Chuck, and everyone on that. Just a quick beam for the pod, Chuck. Don't want to hold up EIR there. Glad to hear him in there. I'll let you pick him up, and I'll be listening for the rest.
Okay, Kevin, thanks for checking in, sir. You're check-in number 10 tonight. And so let's go and say hello to Don up in Mount Hope, VE3EIR. Come on in, Don.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. It's been quite a long time since I checked in, and I was just scanning YouTube, and of course, somehow YouTube brings up your call time every Wednesday. They have set an acknowledgement, what's called, and they know what to search me up here. So anyway, you pop up, and I click on, and there you are. You and Rick were talking. So that's it. Just like Kevin said, another beam for the pot.
Okay, there, Don. I don't know if you've changed your antenna or you have a loose connection or something, but I'm certain you used to come in a lot better. I've only got you at about an S6 over here by the Center Mall there, Don. Have you changed anything over there?
No, but I will check. I'll check it out. We'll see what happens. We'll check it out. There shouldn't be any changes.
Okay, make sure all your connections are tight and get back to us there, Don. Thank you very much for your check-in. You are in the log. Anyone else would like to check in? Please come now. VA3CJZ. All right. So we're going to go and start off with some trivia. And let me pick one here that I like. Hang on. I'll be right back.
Long is Chuck really going to be?
All right. So apparently there's an ant species that's unique to New York City. Biologists found them in a specific area of New York City and named them Manhattan ants. Okay, I think I said that one last week. That's funny. You could fall through the center to the center of the earth, and it would take you 42 minutes. That's how long you would fall for just to get to the center of the earth.
Which means you can get authentic Chinese food in an hour and a half.
Speaking of food, in an average lifetime, people eat around 70 assorted insects while sleeping. And also, apparently, Hawaii gets 3 feet closer to Alaska every year. The Aloha State sits on a tectonic plate called the Pacific Plate that shifts closer to the mainland every day.
That's the only green square I need filled in on my POTA map.
Did you know there are apparently 293 ways to make change for $1? And bananas are radioactive. I think I mentioned that before. Under black light, they glow blue or something. And apparently, so are potatoes, spinach, Brazil nuts, oranges, and granite countertops. What? Yeah, radioactive. Didn't know that. Oh, yeah, and identical twins don't have the same fingerprints. Okay, interesting. What about, where are we here? Almonds are part of the peach family. Almonds are not true nuts, but rather something called drupes. Drupes. Isn't that a form of money in some country? Dropas? Oh no, something else. Animals can be allergic to humans. Really, not only can dogs be allergic to cat dander and people dander, our pets also suffer from the same allergens as humans, including pollen.
Great, Chuck.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I just happened to notice after you mentioned that the thing was on low power. So this obviously will be better.
Well, I haven't really noticed much except for you're at an S7 now, and your audio is punchier. So very good then.
Okay, thanks, Chuck.
Okay, not a problem there, Don. Anytime, sir. Thanks for checking in. I do appreciate it. A lightning bolt is 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. The charge carried by a bolt of lightning is so intense that it has a temperature of 30,000 degrees Celsius, which is for Larry, 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And the longest anyone has held their breath underwater is over 24.5 minutes. I do know that people that dive for clams and stuff like that, they're very good at holding their breath. But I think this was a competition, 24.5 minutes. A Croatian on the 27th of March, 2021, not that long ago, held his breath for a total of 24 minutes and 37 seconds. On average, a human can hold their breath between 30 and 90 seconds.
More so the day after a chili competition.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. What else now? All right. So we'll do maybe one more and then we'll jump over to On This Day in History. Giraffes hum to communicate with each other. It's thought that the low frequency humming could be a form of contact call between individuals who have been separated from their herd, helping them to find each other in the dark. Giraffes are also more likely to be hit by lightning than anything else. All right. So with that, we'll wrap that one up, and let's go to On This Day. And this is On This Day, 167 weeks that I've been doing this. And we start off with famous birthdays on May the 8th. The founder of the Red Cross, Henry Dunant, D-U-N-A-N-T, was born on this day in 1828. Born in Geneva, Switzerland. He died in 1910. Founder of the Red Cross. Maybe that's why they've got red and white for the symbol of the Red Cross, because that's their national colors for Switzerland. Harry S. Truman, born on this day in 1884. He was the 33rd U.S. president and a Democrat, born in Missouri. And someone almost as old as him, Don Rickles, was born on this day in 1926. I love that guy. What a hockey puck. Of course, he's an American comedian. He had his own show called The Don Rickles Show. He was on CPO Sharky, and he was a regular on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Born in Queens, New York, and he died 7 years ago in 2017. Ricky Nelson was born on this day in 1940. Died at a young age, too. He's an American pop rock star, very famous in the 60s. Famous songs, Hello, Mary Lou, Garden Party is another one. And he was also an actor. He was on The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, born in New Jersey. And I believe he passed away in an airplane or a car crash in 1985 at the age of 45 years old. Way, way too young. Next, we have Gary Glitter, 79 years old today. Born in 1944, he is a British glam rocker. You might remember the song Rock and Roll Rock, parts 1 and 2. And he's also a convicted sex offender. And he was born in England. I think he got nailed in Thailand for his offenses. Anyways, next we have one of the singers from Earth, Wind and Fire. Philip Bailey was born on this day in 1951. American R&B and pop singer. You might remember Earth, Wind and Fire's song Shining Star or Easy Lover. He was born in Denver, Colorado. Philip Bailey. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but Eddie Van Halen and his brother were both Dutch. And Alex Van Halen was born on this day in 1953. Of course, he's the drummer for the Van Halen band. Born in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. A little bit of trivia there. Bill Cower is 66 years old today. Born in 1957. He's an American Pro Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame coach, Super Bowl Coach of the Year. He was coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, he was born in Pennsylvania. Next, we have the little girl from Little House on the Prairie, Melissa Gilbert, was born on this day in 1964 in Los Angeles, California. Enrique Iglesias is 48 years old today, born in 1975. He's a Spanish singer, songwriter, and apparently king of Latin pop. Born in Madrid, Spain. He is also the son of Julio Iglesias, the original Spanish heartthrob. And that's it for birthdays of famous people born on this day. Do I have any questions, comments, or check-ins for this week's net? Please come now. This is VA3CJZ.
Victor Echo 3, Charlie Echo Uniform.
Victor Echo 3, Charlie Echo Uniform. Tomasz, how did your holidays go? Tom, come on in.
Good evening, Chuck, and everybody else on the net. I can't speak too much. I'm still trying to get my voice back here. The holidays were pretty good. They're pretty much relaxing until the end. I got this viral thing or whatever, but yeah, just wanted to check in and say hello.
Oh, yeah, you do sound a little bit rough there, Tom. Sorry to hear that. Yep, make sure you drink plenty of liquids and whatever else can lubricate your... Oh, honey is good. Oh, yeah, honey is good. But thank you so much for checking in, Tom. Everything else going okay?
Yep, everything else is going fine there, Chuck. And that's your bean for the pot. Have yourself a good evening.
All right, Tom, you too. It's your check-in number 12 tonight. And I do thank you, and take care of yourself. And we'll talk to you again soon, hopefully. Have a great rest of the week. VA3CJZ. All right. Do we have anyone else wishing to check in with us? Say hello on the weekly AREG net. This is VA3CJZ. My name is Chuck, and I'm located here by the Center Mall in Hamilton. All right. So after the birthdays, there's death. No. Famous deaths on May 8th. And we have King Kamehameha the First. He died in 1819. And he is, or was, the first king of Hawaii. Dies at the age of 81. Okay, this person only has one name, and he died in 1876, and his name is True Ganini. Truganini. True Ganini is the last originating Tasmanian. So that means the last Tasmanian born in Tasmania, small island in the South Pacific. 1876. Next, we've got William Fox of the Fox Film Corporation, passing away on this day in 1952. He's a Hungarian American movie theater pioneer and film producer. And he founded Fox Film Corporation, which now I'm sure the family has gone on to Fox News, the Fox Network, Fox everything now. I'm sure it's the same family. He was 73 when he died back in 1952. Let's go to 1982 now. On this day, Gilles Villeneuve died. He's a Canadian auto racer and was a runner-up for the World F1 in 1979 in a Ferrari. And he died in a practice accident prior to the Belgian GP at the tender age of 32. I remember very famous Canadian racer, Gilles Villeneuve. And on this day, 1987, Pam Ewing was killed. Actually, Pam Ewing is the character on Dallas, played by Victoria Principal, and she was killed off. I don't know. I never watched Dallas. This next guy I've seen in plenty of things, George Peppard, passed away on this day in 1994. American actor. He was Banachek on the A-Team, and he played in many movies. He was great on the A-Team. Dies at the age of 65 back in 1994.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, you got to see that with a cigar in your mouth. All right. The Abbey Road Photographer. You remember the Beatles album, Abbey Road? Well, Ian McMillan was the photographer, and he died in 2006. Abbey Road photographer. He was born in 1938. And finally, Jim Fowler passed away in 2019 on this day. Jim Fowler was an American naturalist, zoologist, and Emmy Award-winning TV presenter for Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Died of heart disease at age 89. Do we have any comments, questions, or check-ins? Please come now. Historical events on May 8th, and we start with the plague arriving in England. In 1348, a ship from Bordeaux, that's France, carrying the plague, lands in Melcombe Regis, now Weymouth in Dorset. The beginning of the terrible pestilence, Black Death in England. Next, we've got De Soto discovers the Mississippi. In the year 1541, Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto and his expedition are the first Europeans to discover the Mississippi River. Next, we have a Canadian connection. In 1604 on this day, Pierre Dugas de Monts reaches Cap La Hève on the Nova Scotia coast on his way to establish Arcadia, the first successful permanent settlement in New France. New France, of course, is North America. Canada, North America. Next, we've got Cromwell refuses the crown. In 1657, English Lord Protector Oliver Cromwell refuses the English crown. And 3 years later, in 1660, English Parliament proclaims Charles II King of England and invites him to return. I don't know where he went, but that's what it's written here. Let's jump to the year 1784 now, and we have the only known deaths by hailstones in the U.S., and that was in South Carolina. I don't know if you've ever seen the size of some of those hail balls, but you figure an average snowball falling from several thousand feet landing on your head. Yeah, that would hurt. All right, here's some more historical facts about Canada and the U.S. In 1792, British Captain George Vancouver cites and names Mount Rainier, Washington. Captain George Vancouver was a British Royal Navy officer, best known for his 1791 to 1795 expedition, which explored and charted North America's northwestern Pacific coast regions, including the coasts of what are now the Canadian province of British Columbia and the United States of Alaska, Washington, Oregon, and California. The expedition also explored the Hawaiian Islands and the southwest coast of Australia. Wow.
There's that Alaska there for you, Mark, or Mac again.
So there you go. So Vancouver, probably the city of Vancouver was named after him as well, too. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, in 1792, on May 8th, the United States establishes the military draft. In 1840, a gentleman by the name of Alexander Walcott patents photographic process. Back in 1840. Next one is a really interesting one here. In 1846, there's the first major battle of the Mexican-American War, fought at Palo Alto, Texas. Now, they signed a treaty on the 2nd of February in 1848, 2 years later, that ended the war between the United States and Mexico. Now, get this. By its terms, Mexico ceded 55% of its territory, including present-day states California, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, most of Arizona and Colorado, and parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Wyoming that all used to belong to the Mexicans. And did you know Mexico's official name is called the United States of Mexico? Check it out. All right, next we have the carbon microphone. In 1878, David Edward Hughes' paper on the idea for a microphone is read before the Royal Society of London by Thomas Huxley. (1879), George Selden files for the first patent for a gasoline-driven automobile. Interesting. Never heard of George Selden, but he owns the first patent for a gas car. In 1912 now, film and television production and distribution studio Paramount Pictures is founded. All the way back to 1912. And then in 1916, a German munitions bunker in Fort Douaumont explodes, killing 679 German soldiers. Back then, during World War I, people on both sides, the Allies and on the German side, used to dig tunnels, and I do believe they reached one of them and set some explosives under their munitions depot, and that's what happened. The old tunnel rats. And then in 1919, we have the first transatlantic flight take off by a Navy seaplane. Next, we have the end of World War I, and this is in 1919, though. Edward George Honey first proposes the idea of a moment of silence to commemorate the armistice of World War I, and that leads to the creation of Remembrance Day. Okay. 1926, A. Philip Randolph organizes the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. Now, I am assuming that is for trains. Sleeping car porters. Philip Randolph, his real first name is Asa, A-S-A. So A. Philip Randolph was an American labor unionist and civil rights activist. In 1925, he organized and led the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the first successful African American led labor union. And in 1926, fire breaks out in Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox baseball team. Fenway Park is a baseball stadium located in Boston, Massachusetts, less than 1 mile from Kenmore Square, and since 1912 it has been the ballpark of Major League Baseball's Boston Red Sox. So that's 112 years, and the stadium still stands. And at the end of World War II in 1945, Canadian troops move into Amsterdam. And of course, we all know that the Dutch love Canadians. And of course, we have German surrender in Berlin in 1945. On this day, German General Wilhelm Keitel formally surrenders to the Allies, represented by the United States, the UK, France, and the Soviet Union in Berlin. And of course, it's also VE Day. World War II in 1945 ends in Europe after Germany signs an unconditional surrender. Hey, you've all heard of Dacron rope, right? Well, how about a suit? In 1951, Dacron men's suits are introduced. That would be weird. All right, in 1955, we've got the first shot put throw over 60 feet by American Parry O'Brien in Los Angeles, California, 1954. And then in 1958, United States Vice President Richard Nixon is shoved, stoned, booed, and spat upon by protesters in Peru. I wonder what the U.S. did to Peru back then, 1958. Then a year later, 1959, on this day, a 3-deck Nile River excursion steamer springs a leak, panicking passengers who capsize the ship, and 200 people drown just yards from the shore. That's on the Nile River. And also in 1959, on this day, Little Caesars Pizza is founded by Mike Ilitch and his wife, Marion Ilitch, in Garden City, Michigan. I like Little Caesars Pizza. And then on this day in 1962, Oskar Schindler, you remember Schindler's List? That was a real person. Oskar Schindler and his wife, Emily Schindler, are honored for saving 1,200 Jews during World War II in a ceremony on the Avenue of the Righteous in Jerusalem. 1 year later, 1963, we have the first James Bond film. Anyone guess what it is? Dr. No, starring Sean Connery, of course, premiering in the United States. And in 1967, Muhammad Ali is indicted for refusing induction into the U.S. Army. He's sentenced to 5 years in prison, but he never does a day. They strip him of his title, and he has to wait 3.5 years to fight again. and I think he switched his name from Cassius Clay to, he joined the Muslim faith during that time, and pretty much rallied, you know, all the black people with him, because he said, why should I forget now, it's not written here, so I'm not going to quote. Anyways, let's go to 1970 now. The Beatles released their 12th and final studio album, Let It Be, in conjunction with the film of the same name. And then in 1971, on this day, Canadian government of Pierre Trudeau falls. That's right. The Canadian government of Pierre Trudeau falls. Yay. All right, in 1984 now, the Thames barrier to stop flooding in London is officially completed. The Thames is the river that goes through London, and I guess they had to build a flood barrier. All right, we're getting near the end here. In 1993, a 16-year-old Karen Thomas, or Keron, Keron, Keron Thomas disguises himself as a motorman and takes the New York City subway train and 2,000 passengers on a 3-hour ride. A 3-hour, no, that's a different one. That was Gilligan. So yeah, 16 years old. Let's go take a subway for a ride. All right, then in 2005, the new Canadian War Museum opens in commemoration of the 60th anniversary of VE Day. And that's today. Today is VE Day, by the way. All right, and on this day in 2010, the last piece of Yankee Stadium falls in the Bronx, New York, marking the end of the 2-year demolition process. Yankee Stadium. That was in 2010. All right, let's go to 2018 now. The largest ever wave at 23.8 meters, that's in 2018, is recorded in the Southern Hemisphere at Campbell Island by New Zealand scientists. So that's roughly 75 feet, 23.8 meters. Did you know Facebook had a co-founder along with Mark Zuckerberg? Anybody know his name? All right. Well, in 2019, on this day, Facebook co-founder Chris Hughes was his name, argues that Facebook should be split up and regulated. He said this in a New York Times op-ed essay. 2 more to go here. Also in 2019, the UK goes a week without using a coal-fired power station for the first time in 137 years due to the use of more renewable energy. That's in 2019. All right, I saved one for you guys here. Pay attention. This is the last one. In 2022, 2 years ago, the Thailand government announces it will give away 1 million cannabis plants to households to mark the new rule allowing people to grow it at home. Sounds familiar. We went through that, but we never got any free cannabis plants, though. But there you go. And that's it for On This Day in History. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did researching it and repeating it back to you fine folks. Do we have any questions, comments, or check-ins for this evening's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? Please come now.
VA 3 NFG.
VA3 NFG. Come and get your free pot plant there, Steve. Come on in.
Yeah, no doubt, eh? Geez, if that were to happen, I wonder how good it would have been. Probably would have been a low-grade 4% hemp plant, I'm sure. Anyway, there, Chuck, late check-in for you. Just got out of work not too long ago and just walked in the door. So we'll say hello to everybody on net, and that's all I got. You're doing your usual plus 40, maybe even plus 60. I don't know. Anyhow, that's all I got, Chuck. Thanks for doing it. VA3 CJZ, VA3 NFG.
All right, Steve. Thank you for checking in. And hey, don't forget, we're talking about Thailand here. Thai sticks, remember? Or as Chong used to call them, Tide sticks. Oh no, that was Cheech. I got some Tide sticks, man. But very good, Steve. How was work?
It's got its ups and downs. Not enough people on the floor, as usual.
Oh, yeah.
And, nobody's trained on deck design over there. We're going to get swamped. We'll probably even have to pass it off to another store. It's kind of a shame, though, They just, I don't know what's going on there. No hours to train anybody. It's weird, It's almost like the fall of the depot, It'd be interesting to see what the next couple years does.
Oh, yeah. No time to train anyone, and then they wonder what happens when things go south. Yeah. Well, everyone wants to cut corners, cut this, cut that. Now you get all the civil servant workers all in an uproar because the government wants them to come back to work in the offices. Instead of 2 days a week, they want them to come in for 3 days a week. Now, I'm sure, a lot of people have their own take on that, but these are all office workers, right? It's not like they do any manual labor in a factory or, manual labor other than typing on a computer. So they're all in an uproar about that. They're saying they're going to go on strike and just for that one extra day. But I don't know. I think they've got it pretty cushy as it is. I think it's a pretty trivial thing to be causing all this problem now. It's all in the news. I don't know if you've heard about it, but they've got the best pensions there are. Government pension, government medicals, government. It pays for everything, and they're all in an uproar now because they got to go into work.
Yeah, well, it's they've probably got 3 too many assistant store managers in there. One time there was only one. Now there's probably, I don't know how many, 5, who knows? But you know what? They should demote a few of them there, and put that money back into paying part-time and full-time store employees and get more people on the floor. For every one ASM, you could probably hire 4 more employees, and they should probably get rid of 3 of them. They could put 12 more people on the floor, and that would make the difference.
Yeah. And then you have to, again, like you said, though, you got to address the issue about training, right? A lot of places will give you like an hour's worth of training and then just throw you in the fire.
Yeah, that's the way they do it. Yeah, they, You know, you're brand new. You're not even on the floor yet, and you're in there training, and then they come up to you and say, "Oh, so and so called in sick. I've had 4 sick calls. So guess where you're going?" Yep, they throw you right to the lions, man. That's the way there. Unfortunately, that's the Orange way. But hey, what are you gonna do? You know. Well, it's like that everywhere, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, a lot of places are like that. They don't want to spend the money on training. It costs money, right?
Oh yeah, yep, yep. They're pretty big in the community. They do a lot of things for the community. Sure, money gets spent on that, but they do a lot of fundraising too for different organizations. But yeah, they need a reset. You know, I think they need a big reset. Somebody needs to somebody they need to recrown a new king over there and go back to the old ways because how it was before was pretty good. Um, Now you know they're wearing you thin, you know. But hey, that's like I say, you know, we're not the only ones. You know, I'm sure it's going around everywhere, and some places probably couldn't even survive. The COVID thing, and after COVID, a lot of places closed up shop. So I'm not surprised that that store is still around, but they've taken a little bit of a beating, and then there's some changes that are made, but we're still bigger in the blue store, so that's all that matters. Yeah, I don't know if you ever go to our competitors. There's nobody in there. Like even customers are you barely see anybody in there.
Yes, I do. I am a patron of both the orange and the blue. That's the first time I've heard it being referred to the orange store, but it makes a lot of sense, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I like it inside. Both of the stores. I don't have any issues. I don't go there all the time, mind you, but and I don't have big uh, projects that I have to do. So uh, my my vote probably doesn't matter. But I didn't know that you guys were bigger than the big blue.
Oh yeah, I would think so. I mean, how many have they got in Hamilton? Actually, to tell you honestly, are they out in Ancaster? I don't know. Is there a Rona in Ancaster?
Uh, yeah, last I heard, Rona was in Ancaster. I don't know about Lowe's.
Yeah, I know there's three of the Orange Box stores in the area. I don't know if Nebo and Rymal is still there, so you count that as one. Down there at Woodward and Barton's too. If they got one out Ancaster way, well then they're pretty much it's pretty much neck and neck for this region.
Well, let me see what the computer says here. Lowe's and Hamilton. They're part of Rona now, eh?
Yeah, I meant yeah. Lowe's is pretty much gone, and it's under the banner of Verona now.
Ah, I see. I see. All right. Well, the only one I know of is the Barton store there. 01 store number 0168.
Now, I don't know what kind of deals they got there. I don't shop there. However, I bought my kitchen cupboards there only because they had a 25% off sale at that time. And the ones that they brought in were a little better than the average ones. So
how many
we got our
Lowe's
cupboards there.
stores in Hamilton? Huh, interesting. All right, Steve. Well, I think we're going to start the 7-3 round there. And I think first we'll do a call out. But do you have anything else to add there, my friend?
No, sir. I'm still. That Tri-Magnum mount I bought through HRO, that's an MFJ product. And MFJ are going bye-byes. So there's no more restocking of that equipment. However, they've offered to send me another one made by a different manufacturer. It's OPEC. It's model OPEC AM-911 UHF. So it's got the SO239, same as the MFJ mag mount. So they're going to do a swap out for me on that, and I should have that. When should I have that? Well, in any case, I'm sure I'll have it by the following weekend. That'll be the one that counts because I'm off that weekend. Every other weekend I'm off.
Oh, that's good then. Every other weekend. That's good. So yeah. So you weren't happy with the Tri-Mag that you have. What was wrong with it?
Well, if you put it on a flat surface, each magnet should be in contact with the flat surface. However, it wasn't. So when I push one magnet down flat, the other two are up in the air, at least by a half an inch to an inch. Like, what's up with that? Like, it's like they almost mounted that stuff on the wrong side of the plate. And maybe they could have. I don't know. Who knows? You know, from what they're telling me, MFJ's quality control has been suffering the last little bit. You know, probably employees there know they're going out of business, so you know they probably don't care what kind of stuff they put out. So anybody buying MFJ stuff, be wary of the quality.
Yeah, and don't buy a car on a Monday or a Friday, or made on a Monday or a Friday.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure some places will be having maybe sales on their stuff. I don't know. You think they would be selling it off cheap, but I don't see any indication that MFJ has got any discounts because they're going out of business.
Yeah, you'll have to look for any. I doubt there'll be any liquidation sales. I don't know what their situation is, but anyhow, Steve, I wish you good luck on your replacement, and hopefully it's you're satisfied with that one. Okay, Steve, thanks for checking in, my friend. You are along with the YouTube check-ins. You are number 13, lucky number 13. Look at that.
All right. That's okay. I've been 13 before, so there you go. All right, Chuck, I'll let you wrap it up, put a bow on it, and we'll be listening there for the remainder of the net. VA3 NFG.
Okay, Steve, thanks again for checking in. And before we do our 7-3 round down the list, let's see if there are any stragglers wishing to check in. Any last minute check ins for this week's AREG? Please come now. This is VA3 CJZ. All right. Well, please join us next week. I am going to go down the list here. But first, I just want to remind everyone that next week will be AREG 1600. 1600 times that AREG has been on the air. That's next week. All right, so let's go to Cal at the top of the list and see if he's still with us. I'm surprised Rick never checked in, AXJ, but we'll find out next week. Hope he's okay. VA3 CDV. All right, let's try VA3 IMW. Mac.
Mr. Reliability, here I am. Yes, Chuck, thanks for doing another great rendition of the AREG net. Always a great way to break up the week. Thanks for doing it. I certainly appreciate all your hard work there, and bid you all 7 threes.
All right, Mac. Well, thank you so much for being part of our net on a regular basis. I do appreciate it. And I'm sure you'll sleep well today. A long day at work, it seems. And so I'm glad things are going well. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the week. As I mentioned previously, the weather is going to be till the rest of the month, from what I could see. And we're only the 8th. I saw as far as, what was it, near the end of the month, we're supposed to get the same weather, cool, rainy, cloudy, partly sunny, right up until the end of the month. So let's hope that is not true. And so with that, let's go to Rick, VE3BK.
Yeah, 73 to you, Chuck, and everybody on the net. Good net as usual, and keep up the good work there, Chuck. That's all I got. 73, BA3 CJZ, B3BK.
Okay, Rick, thank you so much for joining us. Much appreciated, sir. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Next, let's see if VA3WPG is still around. Chris.
Yes, VA3WPG still around listening. Going back to the Quancheng conversation there a little bit back. Something I've noticed with my Quanchengs, I got 2 of them. I could have them sitting next to my Bofang, and the Bofang will pick up the repeater perfectly. Quanchengs sitting next to them on the desk are extremely choppy reception, even with the squelch all the way down. So don't know if that's the case with anybody else, but my Quanchengs have a nice selective receive there.
You know, Chris, it's funny you mentioned that because I experienced something I thought was quite odd. Um, if I have 2 handhelds on at the same time, one will pick up better than the other. And so I think, yeah, the radios are competing with receiving the signal when they're set close, close together and turned on. I found that was pretty weird, but you turn one of them off and the reception picks up.
For me, I did that test after I found out that my Bofang I could carry around the apartment, and then as soon as I got the Quanchengs, even with only one Quancheng on, I'm walking around like, well, why the heck is this thing not picking it up? So that was even the case before the Bofang. They just have, they don't like to pick up as good as a Bofang does indoors, I'm finding.
Have you tried swapping antennas?
That I have not yet.
Yeah, if you got another antenna, try swapping out the antenna, or even swapping out the Bofang antenna with the one the Quancheng came with, and see how that works.
Oh yeah, okay, I'll give that a shot next time. It does seem to be both Quanchengs, but I have not tried the Bofang. not sure. It should, same connector, right? SMA. I think, can't remember. I haven't had taken the Quansheng antenna off in a while, but yeah, I'll definitely give that a shot.
All right. Well, I do know that you can pick up a aftermarket antenna. I have several, and I'm really happy with the Redivis antenna, and they're relatively cheap. Um, I'm still not willing to pay $35 plus tax for a genuine Nagoya. There are other antennas that perform just as well. Actually, there are videos on that you could look up. But for, what is it? I think on Amazon it's $13 plus tax for a 8-inch whip from Redivis. I ordered mine through AliExpress, so they work great. So, anyways, try that and let us know if that helps out there, Chris.
Alrighty, I will look into that. And in the meantime, I notice we're past the 10 o'clock mark there, so I'm going to send it back for now and say good evening to everybody, because I'm sure people want to be getting to bed sometime soon. So everybody, have a good evening, and Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Papa Golf, back to the net.
Okay, Chris. Like I said, for now, in the meantime, try using the Bofang antenna. See if that helps out. So it might just be an antenna issue, and let us know what happens. All right, so we'll clear with VA3 WPG and go to VA3 November Charlie Alpha. Wade, are you still there?
VA3 CJZ, VA3 NCA. Yeah, I'm still here listening along, and I'll say 73 to everybody. Thanks as always, Chuck, for an enjoyable Wednesday. Just to extend the Quansheng talk a little bit, I was thinking maybe a good test would be for one of the Sundays, given that it technically does double sideband, which I guess is AM with suppressed carrier, but it doesn't suppress the other sideband. A good test might be to have somebody check in and have some of us listen on lower sideband, some of us listen on upper sideband, and see if, ideally we should be able to hear them both, no matter which sideband we set our air quotes real radios to. We should be able to hear what the Quanshengs are putting out, both upper and lower. I guess the downside of that is they are putting only half their power out on any given sideband, so presumably their low power handy talkie is even, half power on one of the sidebands or the other. So there's that there's that about it. So, anyways, interesting test to be done, nonetheless, and I suspect we should be able to tune them in on lower or upper sideband on 70 centimeters when they transmit. Anyways, I've droned on long enough. Thanks for running the net there, Chuck, and I'll send it back to you via 3 NCA 7-3.
Yeah, very good, Wade. One last thing to mention about that is you have to remember, even though there are firmware upgrades for these radios, the hardware is designed for 2 meter and 70 centimeter FM. Mind you, the AM works pretty good, but hardware wise, they're not really designed to be, transmitting on any other bands. So keep that in mind. But nonetheless, it's fun to do experiments and test them out. Thanks, Wade. Next, I think, is Larry, VE3LBI.
Yep, we're still here, Chuck. Listen along. And I'm glad, I think Steve was going to send a VA3 NFL, or VA3 NFG was sending an email into the company, and I'm glad he got something back from him because I was curious about that. He wasn't around Friday night, but I was interested to see if somebody had responded to the problem with the tri-mag.
Yeah. I'm glad they offered him an alternative replacement. So hopefully he's happy with what he gets.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, well, thanks for doing it, and we'll probably switch over to ZOE for a little bit before the witching hour about 11 o'clock. Anyways, okay, again, thanks for doing it, Chuck, and we will pass it back to you, VE3LBI.
All right, Larry. Thanks for checking in, my friend. And next, let's see if KKP is still around. How about Tomash, VE3 Charlie Echo Uniform? I'm pretty sure he has to work in the morning and he's got a sore throat, but last call there, Tom. How about Don and Mount Hope, VE3EIR?
Yes, Chuck, VE3EIR here. Another good net, and 7 threes to everyone on net. VE3EIR.
All right, Don. Well, thanks for checking in, my friend. I was thinking about calling John in the next little while there and get an update on his situation. And for those of you who don't know who I mean, John is VE3JSU. He is the founder of the AREG net 30 years ago back in Dundas. And he's now in Manitouwadge, Ontario, retired. And that's why I have taken over in his place. And so, Don, we'll try and get some news for you. You're going to have to check in a little bit more often, though. And by the way, you went up to an S8 now this time. So good job.
Yeah, okay, Chuck, that's a promise. More check-ins in 2024.
All right. Take care. Glad to hear. It sounds like you're doing okay there, Don. All the best, my friend. Okay. Well, Steve is the last one on the list there. Steve, anything else? 7-3 round, my friend.
No, Chuck. I just turned the volume up there. The portable was in my pocket here. I was talking to the wife for a few minutes there. We're all good there, Chuck. Wrap her up, buddy. VA3 CJZ, VA3 NFG.
All right. Very good, Steve. Your portable's doing a good job. All right. Well, like I mentioned earlier, Steve is check-in number 13. And so that wraps it up for this week. Remember, next week is AREG Net 1,600 weeks that the AREG Net will have been on the air. And I hope to hear you all then. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, 7-3 all. Have a great rest of the evening. For those of you living in the East End, remember to take your garbage out. This is VA3 CJZ 7-3 all.